We are the Beer Amigos. We like beer. We are amigos. And that's why we call ourselves the Beer Amigos. Everybody. We are the Beer Amigos. We like beer. We are amigos. And that's why we call ourselves the Beer Amigos. The Beer Amigos.
Hey, this is Travis.
And this is Mike.
And we are
The Beer Amigos!
And we're in Commack, Mike, right?
Yeah, we're in Commack at Anthony's Cold Fired Pizza on this beautiful Tuesday.
We're here for the Brooklyn Beer Dinner.
Yeah, we are.
So I think let's just get straight to the interview, Mike.
Sounds good.
All right.
We're here at Anthony's Cold Fired Pizza in Commack, located at 6401 Jericho Turnpike. That's in the great state of New York for you out-of-state listeners. We were actually invited here to partake in the Brooklyn Brewery beer dinner. Neither Travis and I have ever eaten here, but we were pretty intrigued by it. I inquired with a few people that have eaten here, and they were like, dude, I'm pretty sure you're going to love it.
And we did.
Yeah, so we definitely came in with an open-minded and, a positive outlook.
I'm glad you're open-minded about pizza.
Always. I mean, we're from New York.
How can you be closed-minded about pizza?
That'd be pretty tragic if people were like, you're from New York and you hate pizza, like, kill yourself.
Yeah.
That's like, you don't like bagels? What are you doing here?
Same thing.
All right, so perhaps you could tell us a little bit about each of these courses. For those of you that like to see what they look like, you can go to our Instagram and see course-by-course posting. Perhaps Brett from Anthony's Cold Fire Pizza could give us some insight as to, each of the courses and how those came to fruition.
And how the beer dinner as a whole came to fruition.
Yeah, so we do beer dinner in our locations once, twice a year, and it's a great night for craft beer people that love craft beer, and it's a 4-course meal. We always start out with something light, so we do our 2 salads. We have an Anthony's Classic salad, which is a nice mixed Italian salad, and then also our fresh mozzarella tomato basil salad. And that today we got paired with Brooklyn's Summer Ale, which Joe here is from Brooklyn Brewery, can tell you a little about Summer Ale and the flavor that we paired with our salads.
That's Joe Morello.
Mollura.
That's all right.
Mollura.
You blew it.
All right.
You're fired.
So Joe, why don't you...
How long have we known each other, Travis? Come on.
Too long. Well, you have no idea what my last name is. You couldn't even guess.
That's true. But sometimes, when we do beer dinners and you have a couple of options with each course, it makes it a little difficult to pair. So you want to start light, work your way up. So we figured Summer Ale would be a perfect beer for the first course. Brooklyn Summer, a little bit different from most summer ales because it's not a wheat beer. There's no citrus in there or anything like that. English malt, German and American hops. There is a little Amarillo hop in there, which gives it a little light citrus flavor. We thought it would work well with the salad. I thought the pairing went pretty well. You guys tried it. You tell me what you think.
Hands down.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, tomato mozzarella in itself is glorious, so I absolutely love that. I like the vinaigrette that was in the salad you were referring to, Brett.
It actually got me really excited for even warmer weather that we're currently having.
Because it totally is like a summer thing. You're like as a dude, you're like, I'm going to order a salad, but you're like, all right, who am I kidding? I got to get ready for Beach Shape. I mean, for Beach Shape, me, it's only like 20 pounds less, and I'm still a fatty, but...
And me for Beach Shape is I try to gain 20 pounds for my beach body.
I gift you my 20 pounds I'm going to lose. So yeah, I mean, a great beer. Summer Ale, now available in cans for the past few years, so it's something you can bring to the beach with you. So for those of you that plan on actually enjoying your summer, you can find that at your local spot. All right, let's move on to course 2. Brett, if you'd be kind enough.
Yeah, so course 2 is a personal favorite of mine. This starts with our Italian soul food. So we started out with our meatballs. We hand roll them ourselves, make them in-house, 100% ground beef. Anthony's grandmother's recipe. So really a signature dish for ours is our meatballs, comes with ricotta cheese and side of our focaccia bread. Along with that, we match it with our eggplant merino side dish,
Your Dan Marino side dish?
Yes, named after our founder, Dan Marino.
Unfortunately, Dan was not here tonight. We're very disappointed.
And I have a feeling some listeners are going to think you're joking, but that's obviously a truthful statement.
Yes, that's a cool part of our history is he was part of our company from the beginning. Good, close friend with Anthony himself, Anthony Bruno. And we named the eggplant Marino after him. It also comes as a pizza. So that's a great course to lead into the rest of our meal. The two soul foods, meatballs and eggplant. And then we paired that with the classic, the Brooklyn Lager. Went awesome with that. That probably one of the most favorite ones we did tonight. Joe?
It's a great beer, Joe. Why don't you tell us a little bit about it?
Brooklyn Lager, I'm sure most of you know that's our flagship beer, the first one we ever brewed since 1988. Brooklyn Lager and a meatball, you really can't go wrong. When we pair something with a marinara sauce, we always go with Brooklyn Lager. It seems to work well together. Brooklyn Lager's been here on draft, on and off since you guys opened, right?
Yeah, we've carried Brooklyn Lager from day one. It's just a classic go-to for most of our guests, and it pairs great with our pizza in general. So,
and nice to start off with the summer, go to lager, and just kind of work your way along there. And I think as we went around to the tables, most people said, "Oh, Brooklyn Lager. You know, we know Brooklyn Lager. We love Brooklyn Lager. We've had it a bunch of times. It's almost like meatballs are like a comfort food. Brooklyn Lager, almost like a comfort beer." You walk into a beer bar, there's 60 beers on tap, you're a little bit overwhelmed, but you see Brooklyn Lager, you're like, I know that beer, I love Brooklyn Lager.
You just know it's going to be good.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And Mike's a big fan.
I love
As
Brooklyn
am I.
Lager. It's definitely one of those beers like it's a go-to. You're like I know this thing's gonna be like spot on, exactly what I want. Definitely one of my favorite Brooklyn beers. It's something that I foresee being a staple in my refrigerator as just like an everyday beer.
When the time comes for you to own your first refrigerator.
Yeah, like you can just, yeah, exactly. Right now I just keep it in my cooler Outback. But it's really a go-to, and it's a great beer. Something that's also available in cans now. I just want to mention that. You can also take that to your beach with the summer. But that in itself is a soulful beer. It's from the roots of Brooklyn Brewery, like you were saying, like those two proteins that they were paired with are soulful food. It's very much like home cooking style. And Dan the Man Marino likes it, so laces out.
Laces out, buddy. Ace Ventura.
All right, let's talk about the third course, Brett, if you'd be kind enough. The pork ribs and the chicken wings.
But yeah, let's get right into it.
okay, so this is a interesting part here. The wings are a signature. So
They were delicious.
Dude, so
Yes.
good.
So good.
that's usually the reaction we get there.
So good.
The first
Fall
time
off the bone.
Yep.
Fall off the bone.
they're a baked wing, Italian style. All our first time guests always get a sample to try. They're that addicting, that good. So for this pairing here, we did the wings. Also come with side of focaccia, and then also the ribs. The ribs are a spicy style. They come with cherry vinegar peppers. Another fan favorite if you like a little kick to your food. And we paired this one with the Sriracha Ace. Joe?
A fan favorite of Mike and I's.
So Brooklyn Sriracha Ace, not sriracha like the hot sauce, but sriracha, named for the hop that's used in the beer, which
Japanese hop, correct?
yes, originated in Japan, first grown by the Sapporo Brewery. They kind of realized that there was a little too much flavor in it for their beer, so the hop went dormant for a while. I don't think it was available to brewers in the U.S. until probably like 2006, 2007. What's interesting about the hop is it almost imparts a lemongrass flavor on the beer. And when you think lemongrass and ribs, you're like, why? Sometimes when you're doing beer pairings and beer and food pairings, you look at kind of the components in the dish. And I thought the vinegar peppers, there was also some rosemary in there. It would help complement with the Sriracha Ace. And I thought the pairing was really nice. Again, you guys, you tried it, so I want to hear your thoughts on it.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I agree with that in the sense of like you see a lot of like lemon pepper pairing in cuisine in general. So I mean that's kind of it makes sense being that that's very like prominent flavor profile in the Sriracha Ace that you would then therefore pair it with the peppers. The ribs were really great, but in all honesty, like those wings stole the show for me. I just want more wings.
He
But
has two in his back pocket.
yeah, it's true. They're flat, so I don't have to feel the bone when I sit on them.
You don't really think about Anthony's coal-fired pizza and wings, but the wings, I mean, Brett, you can talk about it. You roast them in the oven. It's just...
Yeah, they're marinated. We bake them in the same oven we cook the pizza.
That means they're healthy.
Yes, we can think of it that way. But really, anytime you come in here, almost every table is going to have a set of wings on the table. They're just a go-to for us, and we did a great pairing with them tonight, so we're happy about that.
Yeah. Also a little side note, I like and appreciate how you two worked together, Joe and Brett, on the pairing of the beers with the food, because I've definitely been to beer dinners before where I've asked the brewery, who was in charge of pairing the beers, and they said, oh, we just left it up to the restaurant. And that could be fine. Not saying I don't trust the integrity of a restaurant, but it's nice, it's nice that this wasn't just a beer dinner. This was like a beer dinner that the two of you wanted to get behind, and it meant something to you, and it wasn't just, hey, let's put some beer and food in everyone's stomachs.
I mean, we just met Brett tonight, but and he's a great dude. But we've known Joe for quite some time, so you shouldn't be surprised.
we don't expect less.
But yeah, absolutely. Joe takes pride in that.
It's funny. Brett said, you tell me the beers and I'll pair it. And I said, no, you tell me the food and I'll pair it. And then we just kind of met at common ground. He's like, well, we should do this, we should do that, and let's figure out something together.
That's great.
And make sure everything is in harmony.
Teamwork makes the dream work. Everyone knows that.
Maybe that's why everything was so good.
Yeah. So let's go to the fourth course. Okay. If you'd be kind enough to elaborate on that, Brett.
All right, so the last course, the finale, is the pizzas. We did 3 different types of pizzas tonight, which were matched with the I Want to Riot. So we did the 3 pizzas we did was our traditional. We did as start out. Then we did our signature as our cauliflower pizza, and also the broccoli rabe and sausage. So different flavors that were going on there. We got a bitter flavor with the broccoli rabe, a little saltiness with the cauliflower, which went great with the IPA rye that we did tonight with Brooklyn Brewery.
Tell us a little bit. Tell us a little bit about that, Joe.
So this is what's nice about Anthony's coal-fired pizza. Most of the time when you go to a beer dinner, the last course is cheesecake or some kind of chocolate dessert that you're not in the mood for. At Anthony's, it's pizza. That's the final course, pizza.
That's great.
So he kind of threw me for a curveball, because usually I'm like, all right, black chocolate stout for the last course, but that wasn't going to work. A lot of times we would do Brooklyn Lager, but we had done that with the meatballs. We had just done I Want to Riot, which is our latest Brewmaster Reserve, a rye pale ale / IPA, obviously brewed with rye. A little sharpness to it. I thought it would work nice. There was broccoli rabe on some of the pizza, so a little bitterness. You do get a little bitterness from the rye. I thought it was a nice compliment. It paired well with the sauce and the cauliflower. And like I said, you have 3 different pizzas, so you got to kind of find the common ground, but I thought it worked pretty well together.
There was a lot of food.
Yeah, that cauliflower pizza was
amazing,
ridiculous. Yeah. Like, I want to eat it every weekend. Like, forget the weekend. I want to eat it every week, all day, every day.
I dare you to.
Yeah, man. Freaking so good. So, and I'm not even... I don't bullshit. I'm being honest here. You definitely want to come get this cauliflower pizza. It was all delicious. It absolutely was. The sauce was great. I'm kind of a stickler for sauce, so if it sucked, I definitely wouldn't be talking about it.
Right.
So if you're gonna come here, you're gonna see Brett, you're gonna see his staff, and you're gonna definitely order these wings and that cauliflower pizza, and you will not regret it.
And you're gonna order a pint
You're
of
gonna
Brooklyn.
wash it down with Brooklyn Lager, which has been on tap since this place opened.
Since 1462.
So do not blow it.
And if you get here quick enough, you will find 5 Brooklyn beers on draft, which is rare, but if it's up to me, we would keep that all the time.
Yeah, so we got the beers going. Like you said, we always have some type of Brooklyn on tap, sometimes multiple ones of them, but loved having everyone here tonight. Brooklyn Brewery is awesome. We had a great time. Our guests had a great time. So we look forward to doing some more things like this in the future.
Yeah, it's great. Thanks again for having us.
Thank you.
Pleasure to meet you. Joe, always great to hang out with you and shoot it about beer and otherwise. Trav, I always enjoy your company.
Thanks, Mike.
But yeah, I'd love to come back here, and you should come here. When you're here, I want you to Instagram what you're eating, because I want to see it. So I might come down and join you.
Mike's gonna drive from Patchogue to Commack and have these wings.
And that's at Anthony's Cold Fired Pizza. We are at the Beer Amigos everywhere in your life, always and forever.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much.
Cheers. Thank you.
Hey, it's Pete from The Good Life, and you're listening to the Cerveza Buddies. Huh? What? Oh, the Beer Amigos.
That was our interview with Brett and Joe. But we were thinking about an interview that we did with Joe in the past, so we're going to go back in time and play that for you.
Back in time.
Back in time.
And this was live at the Cradle of Aviation craft beer event. That was January of 2014.
Yeah, I think that's pretty damn accurate. Wow, that was pretty impressive, Trev.
Thank you. All right, so here we go.
We are here with Joe, this very seasoned representative of the Brooklyn Brewery. Joe is a familiar face that we always enjoy seeing, and we're obviously super pumped to see you here today. Joe is pouring two beers that we haven't seen, as far as I know, at a festival yet. So perhaps you could give us a little insight as to what you have and give us a little background on those beers.
Sure, absolutely. The first beer, well, first of all, it's great to be here with you guys.
Thank you.
Beautiful venue, kind of different, a beer festival and a museum.
Beautiful sombreros.
Yeah, with beautiful sombreros. I wish I had one, but I don't. But we have Brooklyn Blast on draft. We usually don't bring it to beer festivals, but since we kind of done our expansion in Brooklyn and we can pump out more of it now, we can share it with more people, which is kind of nice. And I don't like to use the term double IPA, so let's say it's a big IPA. It's about 8.5% alcohol, 8 different hops in it, 4 from England and 4 from the U.S., but you still have that nice malt backbone to it that keeps it balanced.
It's a revolutionary ale.
And the other beer we just released, it's our spring seasonal dry Irish stout. Roasty, malty, 4.5%. I like to call it session stout.
Yeah,
I like that too.
If such a thing exists, absolutely. I just had that, and I was like, I like this, but I had guiltily been drinking some bigger beers earlier, so, but I could absolutely get behind that, where you're just like, you know what? Like St. Patty's Day is coming. Let's.
We have big stout. Yeah, black chocolate stout if you want that imperial stout. But this is a little bit more for the masses.
Right.
But
yeah, if you want to bring the noise, then you go black chocolate.
Bring the funk.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's great to see those here. People having some beers that they haven't necessarily tried at all, or at least you're rolling out the Irish stout. It's kind of cool. I mean, festivals are fun for that reason. You get to have beers that aren't available to you regularly necessarily, but it's nice to try a beer without having to commit to a full 4 or 6-pack. I know that we discussed this a little bit earlier, but the Blast is available in a 4-pack. How is the stout distributed? Is it exclusively tap, or is it available in bottle?
No, stout's available in 6-packs, also draft in 6-packs. Blast is fairly recent. We just put it in bottles, 4-pack bottles, and we're excited. We just added a 12-ounce bottling line in Brooklyn, and that's our first 12-ounce beer that we're doing. And we got some other things that we're working on later this year. We're going to release a session saison. So kind of go, instead of a session IPA like everybody else is doing, we're going to do a session saison, and we're bottling that in Brooklyn. That'll probably be released sometime in May. So it's kind of cool. You have the bottling line in there. You can experiment with different things. We didn't really have that luxury before.
Just from a curiosity standpoint, I mean, one way or the other, sessionable saison, farmhouse ales tend to typically be a little bit lower, in alcohol. What was really the mentality behind, choosing to do a sessionable saison?
It really came about, we do a lot of business in Sweden. As you guys know, we're building a brewery in Sweden right now. And in the Sweden market, you have to be below a certain ABV content to be available in their supermarkets. So that's kind of how it came about. So we did some test batches, and traditionally IPA are supposed to be strong beers. We know the stories of IPA, they had to survive the journey. Right. So a session IPA, it's almost like creating a new style. So we said, instead of following what everyone else is doing, we brewed this session saison. It was first called Oishi, which means delicious in Japanese. And we used a sriracha hop in there, a couple of different hops, something a little bit different, and something that started for our market in Sweden. We were kind of happy with it. We feel like there's a market for it in the U.S., and you'll see it probably in May.
Very cool.
That's exciting. I mean, craft beer is very much, as much as against the grain as possible, for, no pun intended. But it's just nice to see the evolution and, kind of, like you said, everyone's going session IPA, which is very contradictory in a sense because,
Not that there's anything wrong with it.
Yeah, no, absolutely, because, we're guilty of liking, some of those beers without a doubt. But traditionally, it's kind of against the grain where you're like, well, that's not my expectation when I drink an IPA. But again, those beers are great segue and introductory IPAs and that style for people that might not be into that. Like for me, I was not necessarily a big hop person. That's more of Travis's forte. So that's nice. For me, I'm very much into that now. I'm drinking double IPAs like a lunatic, and that wasn't the case before. So there's a great purpose for those beers, and from an introductory standpoint, if you're not a hophead, that's maybe the way to go. Saisons are great. I mean, they're typically traditionally they're brewed for the summer primarily. The hot days where you would quench your thirst, but also get maybe a little bit buzzed after a while. So that's nice to see that.
What's amazing is you see as breweries are coming out with these lower ABV beers, how much flavor you can actually pack in there. Because you see 3.5%, 4%, you're not expecting something that's so full flavored. And when you taste it, I mean, it's unbelievable.
I always think of the Barrier Unimperial IPA. I don't know if you've had that.
Yeah, I have. Not in a while, but
so flavorful. I think it's 4.5% alcohol. It's delicious.
And again, I mean, that's part of the crafting process. It's not just like, okay, let's brew a beer and it tastes like every other beer that is in this style. So, I mean, definitely a nod to what you brought today. You're also pouring some of the Silver Anniversary in celebration of your 25th anniversary in Brooklyn. I know that the foundation of that beer is inspired by your flagship lager. Perhaps you could give us a little insight as to how that came to be.
Sure. Last year, 2013, was our 25th anniversary, and Brooklyn Lager was obviously the first beer that we ever did. So Garrett wanted to kind of do an homage to Brooklyn Lager. So he brewed a lager, but the double bock intensity. We did a little bottle re-fermenting, and 8.5%. I like to call it Brooklyn Lager on steroids. And we had 4 local artists do 4 different labels for it. It's nice. It's something different. It was a limited release. We have a little bit left. We're selling it through, and then it'll be gone. Obviously, we'll keep some for ourselves and bring it to festivals, share it with the Beer Amigos.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, and that's like a beautiful thing to see at these festivals, because again, for a bigger bottled beer like that, you can taste it without committing to it. So it's a great opportunity to share those beers with people that maybe don't even know that beer exists. Let's be honest about it. So it's a beautiful thing to...
You can do a lot of that tasting at the brewery if you come visit us one day, guys.
Oh.
I mean, I've actually been there plenty of times.
I've been as well, but... that's a great point that Joe just presented.
I think Joe's saying if we don't show up in sombreros, we're basically just the average guy who's still appreciated.
Yeah.
But we need the sombreros to be the Beer Amigos visiting Brooklyn Brewery.
Let us know when you're coming in. Let us know. Maybe give you a little behind-the-scenes tour.
I'd be more than happy with that.
We're here with Joe, and he sent us. Yeah, absolutely. That would be great to get that personalized tour from a... great representative of the Brooklyn Brewery. Sure, Brooklyn Brewery always goes hard, and we appreciate them, and we appreciate Joe. So we look forward to more coming out, blast Irish Stout and going forward. So thanks for your time, Joe.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Cheers.
This is Rick Sabatka from Great South Bay Brewery, and you are listening to the Beer Amigos.
That wraps up another episode of the Beer Amigos.
You can find us on social media, Facebook at The Beer Amigos, Instagram at The Beer Amigos, Twitter at The Beer Amigos. Mike's making fun of me because I'm going through puberty. My voice has cracked quite a few times this episode.
Squeakiest voice ever, but yeah, you can find us at all those spots. We appreciate you tuning in. We love you. We need you. We want you. Oh, baby, oh, baby.
Yes, we want you inside of us. So until next time,
adios, amigos.
Thanks for listening.
We are the Beer Amigos. We like beer. We are amigos. And that's why we call ourselves the Beer Amigos. Everybody. We are the Beer Amigos. We like beer. We are amigos. And that's why